Hi everybody, welcome back to Small Caliber Arms Review. I'm Richard. Today we're going to be taking a look at another one of Granddad's old guns. This is a Mossberg Model B. It's just a single shot bolt action 22. Nothing complicated about it. I picked this up a couple weeks ago and I was really impressed with the bore in it. The bore is nice and shiny and clean and well-defined rifling in it and stuff. It's just a simple rifle made from 1930 to 1932, so it wasn't in production very long, and it's not Mossberg's first rifle. They've been doing them for a while, but this one is just a simple one. Not really considered a boy's rifle. It is pretty small. I think it has like a 12-inch length of pull on it. It was also manufactured under a couple different names. Mossberg made it for a trapping company, and it was called the Trapper Special, and they also made it as the Premier Model B. Now, when I got to looking at this thing, I looked it over and I thought, okay, yeah, it's in pretty good shape. One thing I did not notice, and how this got past me, I have no idea, but it is missing the extractor on the bolt. And how I did not notice that, I have no idea, because it's right there in the top. It's wide open. It is not in there. Now, the spring was in there, which is a little tiny spring, and the pin was in there, but the extractor itself was missing. So I got on the usual sites to try to find an extractor, a replacement one, an original one that I could, you know, just buy and swap out, put it in there, but I cannot find anything for this rifle under any of the names. Now, the bolt itself was shared between several different models of Mossberg, but I still can't find anything. No replacement parts for this. So I'm going to attempt to make an extractor for this. Now, what I did was I took a piece of modeling clay and I flattened out a little piece of it, and I closed the bolt and I stuck it down in there and kind of packed it in, which was kind of messy, but it gives me an idea of the shape of the chamber that this goes in. I was not able to find any of the patent drawings for this rifle. I did find a drawing of replacement parts, but in the Model B there were two different bolts made. There was a single piece, and this is a two-piece that actually turns a little bit. And the single piece obviously didn't turn. The whole bolt rotated in there. And there were two different extractors made for this. For the single piece bolt, both extractors were made. And also there was a longer extractor made that was a little more complicated. Now, this extractor, from what I've seen, is pretty simple. It's just a piece of 1/8 inch thick steel plate. And I got a piece right here that I'm going to shape a extractor for, and I'm going to try to make one for this rifle and see if I can't get it into good functioning condition. It will function just like it is. The problem is, every time you take a shot, you're going to have to take your pocket knife out or something and dig that shell out of there and put another one in there. It's not going to pull that spent shell out and chuck it out of the way so you can put another one in there. So it's really a pain to do that. I have worked with some rifles, shot some rifles where you had to do that. Even though the extractor was there, it just wouldn't grab it and pull it out. So that's going to be my little project for today, is I'm going to attempt to make an extractor for this. Now, this is just A36 mild steel, so I am going to have to cut it, shape it, fit it, and then harden it, and then put it back in there. Now, most of the time you can't. The only way to harden mild steel like this A36 is to carburize it, and I've got some stuff called cherry red, which is a case hardening powder. I have to heat the piece up cherry red and then put it in this powder, and it will embed some of that carbon into the surface of it and only case harden it. So it's only hardening the outside of it, but hopefully that'll be enough for the extractor in this rifle. I'm going to get to doing some shaping on this to get it ready, and then transfer my dimensions that I come up with on this little piece of clay onto this piece of steel, get it cut out and get it fitted. Okay, I finally got the extractor made. Now, is it made exactly like the one from the factory? I don't know. All I've got is a really bad sketch to go by, and just the little clay impression I took, which is really bad. But I think it's enough to get it where I need to be. It's pretty close to what I seen in the picture. Now that hole is really close to the corner, and that's the way it is in the picture too, which is probably the reason that the extractor was missing, is because it probably just wore through. Now you see I had a drill bit in there because it's a I think it's 5/64, wherever I did with it. So that's the size of the pin, that's the size of the hole, so I stuck that drill bit in there. Now it's a little tough to get in there. And I think I've got it shaped just right. It is able to grab the round, hold it in place there, and it should be able to go in and close and everything. Now it didn't work so good with the dummy round that I have in the rifle, because it's plastic for one, and it's kind of soft, so it doesn't quite want to do like a regular 22 round will do. But now the next thing I got to do, and I'm going to go ahead and harden this before I try it, because I want to put the pin back in there, the original pin, which is bent, and I need to try to straighten it out a little bit. But I want to harden it before I put it in there, because that's going to be the final time I put it in and give it a try. Now I did take some sandpaper and kind of round off those corners because they're sharp on there, and I've got some little cuts on my fingers now from messing with this thing. But I'm going to use this stuff here. This is called Cherry Red. It's instant hardening compound, fast acting steel case hardening. case hardening compound that quickly and easily produces quality results. Now this stuff, you heat the part up to cherry red in color, and then you dunk it in here, and this is a powder. You cool the part, and you reheat it to a cherry red color again, do it again, quench it in water, oil, or let cool and brush off the excess compound. It's water soluble, so it will clean off of there, and it's supposed to harden this a little bit. Now this is pretty soft steel, so I need to do that. I have not used this stuff before, so I'm going to give it a try, and hopefully it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, I did just what the instructions said to do. I believe I got it to 800 degrees to cherry red. Now, the ultimate test is to take a file and run it across there and see how it sounds. This is one of the same files I used when I was doing this, and it does sound like it's hardened some. Now, it is shining it up a little bit, but I think, yeah, it's kind of slick on there. I think I'm just scraping off the residue of it, but yeah, it seems like it worked. Hopefully it did anyways. Yeah, it does feel like hardened steel. It's better than the Extractor I had because, well, I didn't have one. So now the only thing to do now is to go ahead and get it put back in the bolt. I've already got the spring in there, so getting the pin back in it is going to be kind of tough. Okay, I've got it back in there, so now the next thing to do is get all this stuff out of my way and give it a try. Now, I'm not going to try in here just in case there's a little excessive pressure or something. I don't want it to set off around here in my studio, so it seems to work just like it's supposed to. A little draggy there, and that could be, yeah, I think it is. The pin right there is protruding just a hair. Just have to tap that in just a little bit more. That feels a little better right there. Doesn't matter if it sticks out on this side a little bit, but let's see if that'll do it. All right, we'll get this thing lubed up and get it out on the range and give it a try, see how it does. Hopefully it works. All right, guys, we're out here at the saloon with the Mossberg Model B. Now, one of the things I want to do is I want to try this just racking around in there and then extracting it or ejecting it and see if it does it. Now, it should do it because it is unfired. The case is not swollen any, so hopefully it'll do it. And the reason I want to try it out here at the range instead of doing it in the house is because I don't know how tight I've got that extractor and I don't want it to pinch the rim and set a round off. So we're going to go ahead and try it. Close the bolt. Okay, it did that. Now let's see if it'll pull it out. And it did pull it out just like it's supposed to. I don't see any marks on the rim, so far so good. All right, I've got a round racked in there. Now you got to pull the cocking knob back and then it's ready to fire. Let's see if I can hit that target. It did not fire. Let's hold it there for a second and see what's going on here. That could be another issue with this gun, is that maybe it doesn't, maybe the firing pin's no good. That's one of the things about buying one of these old guns here like this. And it is a very, very weak hit on there. Let's go ahead and try it again. Now, without taking the round out, I'm going to try it again, see if it'll progressively compress it. All right, it did fire, and I don't see the mark on there. Of course, it's hard to see in that black. Now let's see if it extracts after it's been fired. Hey, it did. Well, at least the issue that I wanted to solve so far is fixed. Let's try another round. I got one of the problems fixed, not the other. Of course, I didn't know the other problem even existed. Wow, it's barely got a little spot on there. Let's try it again. All right, let's try something a little bit different here. Let's try some different ammo. I've got a little box over here of Thunderbolts. I just want to see if maybe the maybe that's a little harder case on the Normas. Let's see if we can get a Remington Thunderbolt to fire. Oh, got to cock it first. Now, it is extracting and ejecting like it's supposed to. It's just not hitting that rim hard enough to fire. Nope, not going to do it. So there's another issue I've got to work on there. That does seem to have hit just a hair harder, but obviously not enough to set it off. Hey, it went off that time. And the thing extracts like a champ. Let's see if we can get another one. And I do see that mark. It looks like it's considerably high. Well, the extraction issue is solved, but there's another issue that I've got to work on. So at least making the extractor worked out just fine. Have to get into the firing pin, see what's going on with that. All right, guys, so there it was, the Mossberg Model B, made between 1929, 32, or 30 and 32, I can't remember. But pretty cool rifle. It's just this one's got some issues, as most of the ones that I have seen do have issues. Now, I did get the extraction issue figured out, so I made an extractor for it, and we'll call this part 1 of the video, and maybe we'll do a second part where we try to figure out what is wrong with the firing pin on this thing. Extractor solved. Firing pin next. Anyways, thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review. If you could, reach up here and hit this button to check out some of my other videos, and hit the little round one down here to subscribe. And then maybe the next video we'll fix the firing pin in this thing. Thanks for watching.